is what it is. You just kill them with kindness.
Was that harder for you to learn than being a dentist?
It's easy. Just do the right thing and be kind.
What is a hidden talent? So today's episode, we have Geoff from Bella Dental. Geoff is a local dentist in the Penrith area. His business, Bella Dental, has been operating for roughly about 7 years. Geoff has a really interesting story. He's a migrant. He originally hails from Canada, and he made his way over to Australia to start his dental journey, where he met his wife, or his now wife. And yeah, it was a really awesome chat. What we chatted about was really about his story, where he started, where he's at, what motivates him. You know, some of the key takeaways I took from this episode, which you're about to listen to, is really that some things can be just simple. That you get up because you want to do good. You want to do a good job. So have a listen to Geoff from Bella Dental. Geoff, thank you for coming into my little studio and just sitting and chatting. Basically, I wanted to start a podcast where I got to get to know business owners a little bit more. And I wanted to this is a bit of an experiment. I wanted to kind of learn from you guys as well. I'm still quite young in my business. You know, I've had my business for 7 years, but the last 3 years has been restructured. And I think I've known you now for 2 years.
Yep.
2 years?
We've been in business for the same amount of time.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. I started Penrith over 7 years ago. Exactly. Late 2016.
But you've had a lot longer working.
I've been dentisting for a little bit longer, yeah.
Yeah. But your business in the sense of being the same has been 7 years, where mine's changed a lot.
Okay. Yep. It's evolved.
And like for me, the last 2 years of like really like understanding the business side of a business has been a journey.
Yep.
And I kind of wanted to really start today and get to know, I guess, what other people do and how they kind of got into it and where it all starts, what motivates them.
Sure.
So for our listeners, how about you just give a really quick background on not just Bella Dental, but Geoff.
Oh my goodness. How much time you got?
Whatever time it takes.
All right. So you could tell that I've got an accent. I'm originally from Vancouver, Canada, born and raised, and
poutine.
Yeah, we don't
Tim
speak
Hortons.
Much.
No?
Yes, Tim Hortons. Yeah, Tim.
Maple Donuts.
No.
Am I just listing anything Canadian
all
right
now? All the Canadian stuff. Yellow snow.
The nice side of Niagara Falls.
Yeah, the nice side of Niagara Falls. I've ever since the age of 14, I've always wanted to be a dentist. Because
why? Sorry, that would sound really rude.
That's a great question. Because I was really antisocial, and I noticed that the dentist I worked for, I worked for like my uncle who was a dentist. I did a summer job, and summer jobs there were like 3-4 months at a time. So age of 14, he hired me because his assistant went overseas for like a couple months, and it gave me a chance to see what it's like to work in a dentist's office. So one, he didn't have to talk much, and I don't like talking to people because I don't like people. Two, he got to work.
I find that really surprising because you're very outspoken and quite social.
Things had to change. Things had to change. Yep. Two, I get to work with my hands, and ever since I was a kid, I always loved working with my hands. Who doesn't like building Lego?
My son loves Lego.
Yeah, he might be a dentist one day.
Every weekend now we've been Lego. And the great thing about Lego nowadays, it could be the lazy way, is you can scan the QR code and have the instructions on your iPad.
Yes.
But the good thing is like you can zoom in 3D and see where you're doing things wrong.
Whereas before you'd really have to know
go through the paper and go, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then the last thing was he made significantly more money than my parents.
It's always a positive.
So I was like, all right, cool. Don't have to talk to people. Work with my hands, make lots of money. That's it. I'm going to become a dentist. And my grades weren't the best in school for university. So somehow I had life's golden ticket. The University of Sydney gave me an interview because they switched from a high school entry to you have to have a degree now. And this country wasn't ready for that. I was. So, I got my acceptance letter, graduated from Sydney a long time ago. been dentisting for the past 17 years.
And so that's how you came to Australia?
That's how I came to Australia, yeah.
Courtesy of Sydney University?
It's courtesy of Sydney University. Because
not promoted or sponsored here.
If it wasn't for that, I probably would have become a teacher. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I really liked dentistry. 17 years later, I still love it. And the other thing that's changed, money, it wasn't as much as what I thought it was. It's okay. It's not brilliant. And two...
What do you mean? You're not making millions of dollars from taking teeth out?
Please. It's not like that at all. And it's okay. It's definitely above average, but it's not anywhere where we could be filthy rich. And lastly, I had to learn to actually be interested in people and like people, because I found that when you just treat teeth, people don't really like you or want to deal with you.
You're in an industry where people hate coming to you.
Oh, yeah. And if you got like a good reason, like, you know, if you remember their cat or their dog or where they last went on holiday, or the fact that, you know, their mom's going in for a surgery and you're expressing concern because you actually do give a crap, like they reciprocate back. And it's a beautiful thing. It's not hard. It's old fashioned. Just care about people.
Was that harder for you to learn than being a dentist?
It was a huge mindset shift. I think the fact that I grew up in the 90s and everyone was angry about not having stuff, like I was definitely within that generation. And at some point I was like looking at everybody else. Everybody else had friends except me. It's like, what the hell's wrong? Is everybody an idiot, or was it just me? No. It was
everyone's just an idiot, man.
No. The problem was looking at me in the mirror. So... You know, that harsh realization sank in, and then I realized, wait, no, you can't keep walking around this world, this earth, thinking the way you think. No, you got to give people a chance, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to be supporting you. You got to support them first.
Yeah. I think we have, though we're completely different types of businesses, I think we have a similar kind of thing where people want us but don't necessarily can afford us or want to come to us.
Yep. And they don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah. Like, you know, we're in an industry where for you guys are like, oh, I'll go to you guys when I have to.
Yeah.
Last resort. And it's very much the same with you. It's like,
really?
Oh, might have to get something done for a video.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go find someone.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate like a business that people don't like you guys? No offense.
Is what it is. You just kill them with kindness. Same as what you do.
Yeah.
Give them something to talk about. And like, hopefully give them an experience that exceeds their expectations. So the good thing about dentistry is that the bar has been set so low.
That's tragic.
It's been set so low from the dentist you had when you were a kid, who probably wasn't the nicest.
Shout out to the dentist I had as a kid.
Right?
Not.
My guy, may he rest in peace. He, you know, when I was a kid, I was like thinking in my head, when I grow up, I'm going to do your job better than you. And the kids I see aren't going to hate me like I hate you. Part of that I was able to achieve part of that, and parts of it, it's like, there's no slicing it. This sucks. I'm sorry. This is going to suck. I don't want to do it. You don't want to have it. It's got to get done. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Let's take you back to coming from Canada to Australia.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Geoff when he first came to Sydney.
Oh my gosh. I was used to like skiing and being able to bike ride, and then Sydney, it's like a down under version of New York. Everything is like so far apart. There's so much traffic. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. And
it's also the worst mapped city in Australia.
Like, remember those blue books? What are they called?
The UBDs.
Yeah.
I used to be the navigator. I used to always, like, when we used to, like, I grew up dancing and stuff like that. So when we used to go dance competitions, I used to, like, help my mum navigate from point A to point D. Yep. And you had to go from page 2 all the way over to page 75. Yeah, exactly. Back to 2, all the way back to 305.
Yeah, so that was
Thank God for maps now.
That was rough. And thank goodness for GPS. Absolutely. So obviously change at that early age, it was hard. And
Culture shock.
It was a bit of a culture shock, and the fact
Didn't
that
know anyone here, I'm guessing.
I didn't know anybody, and I didn't make money. So, like, being of an Asian immigrant mindset, like, money, you hold on to it.
Yeah.
You hold on to it. You don't spend it. And everything seemed like it was so expensive, and it was my first taste of adulthood. I think the perspective has totally changed now that I'm actually making an income and I could afford stuff. So, with that in mind, Sydney's wonderful. I love it. It's so good. Everything is happening here. Yeah, it does have traffic. Yeah, it's big. Yeah, you spend a lot of time in your car.
Yeah, it's the most expensive city.
Yeah, it's expensive. And like, I can't imagine living anywhere else. I absolutely love it here.
Yeah. I've been fortunate to live in multiple different cities for my past dancing career, and it's, that song Still Call Australia Home definitely kind of sinks in to when you have lived outside of home. Do you get homesick about Canada?
Sometimes, but I identify with Australia being home now. I mean, I've lived in Canada. I've lived in the States for 4 years. And when people have apologized to me, saying, "Oh, I thought you were American. I'm so sorry." Like, why? Americans are awesome. America's awesome. What you see is like all the garbage that TV wants to show you that makes you think that America's garbage. I don't think it is. It's actually not as bad as what we think.
Perception on everything, though, right?
Yeah, media
perception of going into the dentist. Could you go? Oh, they're gonna rip out all my teeth. Yeah,
or they're gonna have this gigantic horse trank needle.
Or I don't know if you ever watched Little Shop of Horrors.
That's something on my list. That's on my list. I gotta watch it.
There's a whole scene about the dentist.
I know. Everybody talks about it. Okay, I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Steve Martin and his brilliance.
Yeah,
and he's just zonked out on laughing gas.
I haven't done that yet.
touch wood. You don't have to ever do that.
Yeah.
So you come to Australia. You're in university. You don't know anyone. You graduate.
Yep.
What's the steps moving on from there? Like, was it a decision that you're always going to stay in Australia, or were you going to go back? What was your thought process there?
The plan was to get through a residency program in the United States and then hopefully land a job in Washington State, which is the one state that's south of Vancouver. And so I went for 7 interviews throughout the United States. It felt like pretty cool, like getting on a Greyhound. I felt like a rock star, like a poor rock star.
I've been on a Greyhound from Niagara Falls all the way down to Florida.
Oh my gosh! Okay, you just about win there.
That is an experience that I don't wish to ever do again.
How long was it?
It was like I think it was like 2 days.
2 days, right?
It had to be 2 days.
It was a sweaty 2 days, right?
It was disgusting.
And what sort of passengers were you sitting near?
Look, it was winter time, so like probably everyone smelt from jackets and stuff too. It was not fun.
Yeah.
It was the only thing we had to do. We were stuck in Niagara Falls. The car company wouldn't hire us a company.
Yeah.
We didn't
have to go all the way to Florida. Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
All right. I went from what's that state next to Delaware? Anyways, like Connecticut? Yeah, Connecticut. I went from Connecticut all the way down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That was a day and a half bus ride. It was stinky. It was it was packed. But yeah, it's like you go to each university or each hospital, like, and it's like the draft, like the NBA or NFL draft, and they pick all the candidates that they want, and then come draft day, like my name didn't get picked. So I was like, oh crap. I got no plan. Here I am, my first job, Alice Springs. Yeah, that's where I had my first job. But the second day, like one of the program directors got on the phone with me. He's like, "Hey, Jeff, you still want to come to Ohio?" Like, yeah, I'll come to Ohio. So I did my first residency in Ohio. Second one was in Eastern Washington, and I landed a job afterwards, working the next 2-3 years for a corporate dentist. They made me do the one procedure that I hated most, which was dentures. We were the most ill-prepared for dentures, but I did a truck ton of dentures, and I think I got pretty good at it, and so I took my denture knowledge and brought it to here. How did I come back to Australia?
Yeah.
The girl that I was dating happened to be from Cabramatta.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is she now your wife, or is it a girl?
She's now my wife.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that would have been terrible if it wasn't.
She's now the mother of my 2 kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cabramatta.
Yeah, good old Cabra. Yeah.
And you met her when you were in uni?
I met her after uni, yep.
Okay, so how long was long distance then?
Yeah, we were long distancing for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she came over, we kind of hung out, and then we got married. We got married in the States so that she wouldn't have to keep going back and forth. I know, very practical.
That's the way you do it, guys. You want to get a green card, marry in the States.
And when she wanted to start a family, I was like, yeah, great idea. But we need to be close to one set of grandparents. Okay. Back to Sydney.
Was it a scissor, paper, rock, or was it always the plan?
My degree won't allow me to work in Canada. Yeah, go figure.
Your country.
My own country. I can't even practice dentistry in Canada.
Still to this day?
Yep.
You have to do like a whole new degree?
I got to do like 3 grueling exams that's designed to make you fail. So it's like, all right, well, Canada doesn't get me. It's fine. Yeah. It's been great.
It's that healthcare. It's that healthcare system.
It's recognizing the degree, but whatever. That's another topic. But coming back to Australia, holy smokes, I worked like half as much and got paid twice as much money as I was used to in the States. They worked me so bloody hard and totally undercut me. And I'm not going to say what company it was because that's just the nature of their business.
Yeah.
But it was such a breath of fresh air to be able to relax more and take home more money.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's been like the best decision of my life. And I can't be more thankful to be living in this awesome country.
All right. So then you come back home.
Yep.
You're now married.
Yep.
When did you decide that you wanted to start working for yourself?
Okay.
And what was, more importantly, what was the reasoning for that?
Okay. I had a very comfortable job. And there was nothing wrong with it. I was able to do my job, which I loved. And then Tony Robbins happened.
He popped up on my YouTube the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yep. So I went to a seminar and he asked a crucial question. What would happen if you can't do your job? Right? Because the income relies on my ability to do the dentistry.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if my eyes go or if my hand goes or my neck goes and I can't do it, how am I going to feed the family? So that's when, boom, I need my own business where I'm able to, leverage off of others.
Yeah.
And it sounds really selfish and self-centered. What can I do for them that makes it like a win-win situation?
Were you a father then?
Yes. Yep. So how can I make this a win-win situation? Because no one's going to be doing business with you if you're doing things for selfish reasons, right? You have to create an environment where it's win-win. So one of my ideas, one that I've heard of, was being able to create like a training facility to be able to level up other dentists so they can get like upskilled, have that clinical satisfaction, and also be able to make like a better living for themselves while working under your roof. So all right, that's going to be one of my objectives. 2, I want like a really vibrant like workplace culture where people are actually happy to go to work. It didn't start off like that because I had a few team members and they served their purpose and they helped me learn how some people can be and what to expect and what to tolerate and how like we can manage expectations and get people on the right seat on the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've worked with people before.
I have. Maybe 1 or 2. Of course. Yeah, look, it's a very similar starting point myself that, I was working with some companies and it was fine, but there was a turning point for me where I was like, I need to start doing something that's going to be more beneficial for me and for my family.
Yep.
And just like you, that if your hand goes, what can you do? I need to start looking at what I can have for the longevity because obviously in my industry, I carry huge, heavy gear around. Like there's going to be a point when I get older that I'm not going to be able to carry that huge, heavy gear around. Yep. So what am I going to be? They're not going to hire me when they're going to hire a kid at a university, right? So how can I build something that is, I guess, future-proofing myself for later on, right?
Absolutely.
Which is very much similar to that. So we got similar trajectories of the reasons of starting a business. I also saw a market of people being terrible in the industry, but that's a story for another time. But so Bella Dental starts.
Yep.
Due to Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins, yes.
And it mainly started out as a training facility, or was it always a dentistry?
It was always a dental clinic.
Yep.
With the way I was treated when I was working for somebody else, like the boss always spent time with me to help me upskill, help me understand, like help me overcome the challenges that I went through. Yeah. And I wanted to be able to do what he'd done for me for the people that are working under me. Yeah. Right? And I found that to be a really, really supportive environment as compared to some of the other jobs that I've had, and especially the one in America, because like they put me pretty much in the managing dentist position. I didn't have anyone to go to. I didn't have any sort of seniors or superiors that I could bounce ideas off of or offer me any sort of support. So I was like all by myself, isolated. It sucked. Yeah. Right? So I felt really like supported under my boss's wing, and like I wanted to be able to offer, like, you know, the handful of dentists working under me like the same kind of support so they could feel just as comfortable and also be able to, you know, be happy to come to work. Yeah. It's nothing worse than like going to a job that you hate or a job that's like this again.
Yeah. What was like, I guess, let's start talking about the initial first few years of Bella Dental.
Oh my gosh.
And I really want to dig down to, was there a turning point in the last 7 years that something switched in yourself as a business owner that made you change directions or think differently?
That's really hard. The first few years, I tell everyone, just expect to lose sleep, lose money.
It's so true.
Just sweat your guts out, do the absolute best for your customers, and like make them your friends, make them your best friends, your closest allies, because they're the ones that are going to be supporting you. They're the ones that are going to be referring their friends and family to you. Yeah. Right? So go hard, go above and beyond the call of duty.
But there's a line, isn't it? There's a line sometimes where they can take advantage of that friendship and kindness. Yeah. Like I experienced it a little bit, like, though my business has been around for 7 years, like this new phase of my business, which is nearly the last 2-3 years, yep. I feel like I'm in that infancy stage of what you just said just then. And literally before we started recording, I was...
Yeah, you were taking that call from that client I won't name.
Yeah. So it's like I'm dealing with like that. I'm trying to be too kind. Yep. So
I think at some point where like you're kind of like climbing, and then you get to cruising altitude, you can start to be more picky with how your time is spent, because your time, your energy is a precious resource. You can't just keep going at full throttle.
And burnout's real.
Exactly.
Especially like in my case, in your case as well, with young families as well. Yep. You know, let's add that added pressure of being a family man as well as a business owner and a boss and a husband and a friend, like all those things. Like I think there's a lot of pressures put onto business owners.
Absolutely.
Which is why I wanted to start this podcast and really talk, because like maybe this is a bit of a therapy session for me.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Because were your parents business owners?
Kind of. Not my mum. My dad is a painter, and he was self-employed for many, many years as a sole trader for most of my childhood, actually. He's only in the recent years started working for a company. So in a nutshell, yes, but like not in the degree what a business is.
Correct, because
it was a different world back then. Yeah. Like, especially for a tradie. Yeah. I think tradie is a little bit different. Like a tradie can, you know, run a business a lot different than, say, we can run a business.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially sole traders.
Yep. My parents were government employees. So they did their 30, 40 years and then drew a pension. And I think they trained my brother and I to have professional degrees so that way we could be like kind of above them and have that job security with the assumption that we'd be continuously having these long careers. And I think for both my brother and I, like once we became business owners, like the whole goalpost changed. It's not just about longevity doing the same thing over and over again. It's like, how can we have the business support us while whereas we want to be able to, like, one, look after the business, and two, also be able to have the time to look after our families.
So back to my question about turning point.
Yeah.
Was there a turning point in your business where it was started off as that slog, really working hard, building all these rapport?
Yeah.
What was the turning point? How many years in did it really, something switched and you were able to maybe take some time back, or are you still navigating that?
I don't think it was an event. It was more like my work wife, Julie. She came from Perth because she met a man in the Glenmore Park area, and she came all the way to Perth. She was kind of scoping out.
That's a big distance, Glenmore Park from Perth.
Yeah, and she was looking for a place where she could utilize her skills and her experience working for a dentist, and she picked us. And I'm so grateful because she was kind of like the nanny or the mom or the wife I never had. It's like, Jeff, you shouldn't do this. Like, what? I got to do it. Let someone else do it. You need to save your precious energy and your mind so that you could focus on the things that are going to move the needle and not these little things that are just going to bog you down.
What I liked what you just said is that she picked you guys.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really cool way of looking at employees, right? Like, yes, technically we pick them when we go through interviews or whatever, but nowadays especially, they have a say in where they want to be and what they want to do as well.
100%.
So when she came in to meet you, what was it that made you go, okay, I need you?
Oh, she was actually just looking for a place where she could utilize her skills. So obviously she'd be reaching out to like a number of dental offices. We interviewed her on the Zoom. I liked the way she thought. She was just really down to earth, old fashioned, 80s kid like me. No nonsense. I like that. And she just proved to be a really, really valuable team member. And, because of the influence that she's got on me at work, she's helped me set more boundaries.
Yeah.
And she's also made it quite okay, not just okay, but actually prioritize like rest and play. Like, Jeff, you got to rest. Don't touch anything tonight. Just go home, be with your family. Don't worry about this.
Yeah. Why is it important for you as the owner of the business to have, more Julies if you can, but like supportive team members that can make you be able to be as flexible as you possibly can?
I think that burnout is a real thing. I mean, I'm in the middle of some of it right now. I've seen other people experience it. It happens, and I think it's our desire to want to get things done without putting boundaries on ourselves and our own time. So, with that said, it's important that we acknowledge that our time and attention span is really, really limited. And I hear this all the time. As a business owner, focus on what matters most and don't sweat the small stuff.
It's hard though to get, like, I find it hard to get over those small stuff.
Same.
Like, you always talk about, the jar with the pebbles and the rocks and the sand metaphor.
Yep.
Where, someone puts the rocks into the glass and is it full?
Yeah, it's full.
No, it's not. Then that little rocks. Like, for me though, like, because I'm so invested in every asset of my business, I find it really hard to like really detach myself from those small things and those big tasks. Yep. And they all just merge into like just a melting pot of brain juices.
Yeah.
And something that I really want to work on myself is, what do I want for the next year, 2 years out of me in the business?
Yep.
So me is definitely, being off a lot of the tools as much and bringing other people into those. What's some of your kind of goals that you want in the next year to 2 years for you? and we're recording this, so this is this is a record. We can look back at it.
Next couple of years, as you know, I'm already going on tour and doing talks and workshops for this BioClear method, which I think is super cool.
It is cool. It is cool.
Whenever I've gone to these seminars, I thought, man, I can never do that. I could never be on stage for a full day instructing.
This is coming from you watching Tony Robbins too, by the way.
Yeah.
Who's doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's just, I think I'm just really thankful that, I have the opportunity to do this and hopefully positively impact a whole bunch of dentists' lives by being able to show them like this is a new technique we could do. And it's able to achieve a lot of the difficulties that we've experienced in the past. It's quite predictable. Here you go. I'll go forth and do it.
Do you think like you presenting to these other people in your industry has made you like a better dentist, but also maybe a better business person?
Better dentist for sure. I actually had to talk about this. Business person, I probably could do better with like...
We can all do better, man.
Yeah. I think at heart, I'm a clinician and a helper. I just want to level people up. Mm-hmm. That's what I want, to serve others, right? Whether it's the patient that's in front of me or the dentist that's going to be serving their population of patients. And like the reward that comes out of it, the money, that's only secondary.
Yeah.
That's how you know you've done a good job.
Yeah.
Right. So the goal isn't to make more money. It's more to serve, your fellow man, whether it's the patient, like the customer in front of you, or the person that's going to be serving other customers. Yeah. And in terms of speaking, like, does it make me a better business person? Probably not. Better dentist, yes. I hope. That's debatable. Depends on like who's judging.
Look at your Google reviews. We'll see who judges you. Yeah. So, was there a point in the business where you ever thought you might give it up?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm still going strong, man. I'm still going strong. No. No, there's no going back. It's do or die.
And what pushes that needle forward of continuing moving forward and not ever just giving up? Because let's be honest, it is tough to be a business owner right now.
Yep. It
is really tough with, not going to list all the terrible, crappy things that have happened in the last 2 years. But, I know a lot of who I thought very successful business owners in the last 2 years shut up shop completely.
Yep. That's tragic.
Moved back to other industries, working for the other person. And personally, I don't ever want to imagine working for someone else myself.
Yep.
Ever again. Like having that flexibility of being with my children when I need to. For example, like my wife had an incident the other day.
Yep.
And I just said straight away, cool, I'm not going to work. The boss will be okay with that.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a lot harder if I worked for someone else to say, then they want to know where you are and all these things. So what kind of really keeps you moving through all this crap that's happened that you said still going strong? There's no turning back.
Yep.
Why?
Well, you nailed it on the head. It's family. Every time I wake up, I see my family. I'm doing this for you guys, right? For ego, I'm doing it also for me because it's a skill that I've developed over time.
I don't think ego's bad though.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Like, the term that person's an egotistical person gets thrown out a lot. But I think a lot of time, ego equals pride.
Yes, in what you do.
You're gonna be very proud. Like you be proud of what you achieve and what you do.
That's a great thing.
And I look at all the stuff that I do. And I have to be happy and proud of that.
Mate,
a year's time, I might look back at it and go, that could have been done better.
I see your content, Adam. I'm like, man, that guy's making beautiful content. I love it. It's so engaging. It makes me want to, get in there and hang out with you or do business with you. So you're doing something.
Hanging out today, mate.
Yeah, yeah. And so, like I said, do it for my family. I do it for my own ego. The people at work, they're like my family too. Right. Yeah. So when I go to work, these people I like coming to work. I like seeing them. It's giving them, it's given them some sense of purpose, and it's one of my purpose to make sure they stay in the workplace and enjoy themselves while they're in the workplace. And then lastly, and most importantly, would be the patients that are like trusting us with their care.
Yeah. Is it hard to be a business owner and a migrant? Just curious. That's a random question that just came to my head.
Or do you
think there's any?
I think for me it's easier because people actually like my accent. There are some accents that
even when they think you're American.
That was the first thing my wife said before we got married that she noticed about me. So I like your accent. Like, oh, it could be American.
My name's Jeff.
My name's Jeff. Like, yeah. Yeah.
It can be an icebreaker for you, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to drill into your teeth, but
it's my edge.
I have an accent.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you've known me long enough. I think it gives me an edge. I don't know.
I think you're a very warm person.
Yeah. Thank you.
And, from the first time I met you, shout out to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep. PVCC.
You made me feel welcomed. You've seen me go on a bit of a business journey over the especially last year. And yeah, you're just ooze enthusiasm, which is very rare in your industry, I think, to have someone as enthusiastic and as happy. Because I've been to some dentists in my time, and they all seem pretty miserable.
I'll bet they were really good in the books, though.
Who knows?
Because I think there was a time, and there probably still is, that they reward academic achievement. And because I was one of those miscreants that was not an academic achiever, I think that I got some ADHD or something that makes me a bit more, whatever you want to call it.
Do you know what I always say, man? Is the term normal. Can you define what normal is?
Yeah.
Normal is a spectrum. Everything's a spectrum. Like, I come from a family that has spectrum people. My son has autism. Like, I probably have ADHD. I think it helps us with our passion, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're so driven to get things done right and be as passionate as we can. I think it's a superpower in a lot of ways.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power to the...
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I sucked as a student. But it gives me, what I have today, you know? And, one of the other guys said that Jeff is a weird, nice guy. Nice, weird guy. Just...
That's a gravestone there.
Yeah.
Jeff. He's a weird, nice guy. He was a weird, nice guy.
Yeah, he's a weird, nice guy. It attracts patients that like that kind of, character looking after them. Otherwise, they're going to have a really cold, clinical, boring person that speaks dentish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'll take the time to explain stuff in human.
I have some questions before I move into some of the last kind of questions. And that was, there's a lot of dentists out there.
Yep.
Just like...
Oh, heaps.
Especially in Penrith, I drive around and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a dentist. That's a dentist. So what kind of helps you stand out from the crowd from other dentists in the area, do you think?
I think a lot of
Besides BioClear.
I think a lot of it has to do with reputation.
Yeah.
Word of mouth, like how you are known in the community. We sponsor a few community sports teams like the Blue Mountains rugby team. I wish I lived here so I could be even more involved in the community with the school drop-offs and have my face seen and known. Doesn't matter. So what differentiates one dentist from another? A lot of it has to do with reputation.
Let me rephrase the question. As a business owner that is competing, what do you always want to make sure that you are doing as an owner that is making sure that that reputation is kept, that the teams are happy, and that your clients are happy?
It's easy. Just do the right thing and be kind. Yeah. Listen to your customer. Listen to your team. Find out what it is that they're wanting. Try, listen. We got 2 ears, one mouth. Right? Just be flexible. I don't know what else. Like just
I think you truly care, man. I think you truly care about what you do, and that reputation is really important to you to uphold.
yeah. And for me, it's not just about a reputation. It's just who I am.
Yeah,
I care for I care for people.
Bloke, mate.
Yeah. People that entrust me with their employment, I'm going to look after them. If there's any issues with the workplace, I'm going to get it sorted out. And the patients that come to me, it's like, hey, what is it that you're wanting? I give them a chance to speak, rather than how many of the listeners can honestly say, last time I went to the dentist, they told me I needed this, and then they gave me the bill and a quote, and they wanted me to schedule this. Like, whoa, hello, wait a minute. It's more important that we help them understand what it is that they're dealing with before we go straight into solution. You need this mode. I thought that was like the worst way to present dentistry. No wonder so many people don't get their teeth fixed. Once they're told they need something, it's like, phew. Remember the last time your wife told you, hey, Adam, you need to do this? Oh, yes, Mayo. Sure thing. Sounds great.
I'm pretty sure that was the other day, but but yes, I totally understand what you're saying. And I think that is yet again, we have a lot of crossovers in certain things in my industry too. Is like a lot of people go, oh, I need a video. Cool. But like, why do you know what is the intent?
Yeah. What sort of purpose is it going to serve?
Exactly.
What are you trying to do with it?
Yeah. And I think it's really understanding what people need and then giving them time to mull it over.
Yep.
It's like when you take your car to repair shop and they go, yeah, so like this is broken, that broken. Yeah, you need it done. Okay, but why? Like help me understand why I'm not just going to fork out thousands and thousands of dollars without first understanding how this can potentially be, avoided. Next time. And B, is it truly necessary for the operations and runnings of said vehicle?
Yep.
And I think that's, very similar to...
Yeah, it could be similar to the teeth. And just like with humans, there's a whole spectrum. Mm-hmm. Like, do you need it right now? Is it black and white? Or can this last a few years?
Yeah.
Try to squeeze more juice out of it before you make the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my last real question before we get into rapid fire questions.
Oh my goodness.
Is... And this doesn't have to be business related. It can be really anything. But what motivates you? That's a good answer.
What motivates me? Jesus. I don't know. I just want to do the best I can. I know it sounds really basic. And I think that that's actually not a bad answer. I think really, I don't like how there are external factors that people will attribute for motivation. It should come from within, right? That's what gives you that long-lasting drive, I think. And so if it's like burning internally with you, that's when you're going to be consistent with showing up all the time. Whereas if it's an external thing, it's like, the carrot and the stick. How long does that last before like your real reasons actually come out? So for me, it's like I just want to make my mark on this world and do the best I can.
I think that's all it needs to be, man. Like, there's so many other things happening in the world that's way more problems than what we're dealing with our own little lives. So I think it's just whatever we can do to make an impact on the people that are around us, the clients that we serve, and obviously our family. I think that's all it needs to be, man.
Yep.
So yeah.
Basic.
You know what? Sometimes basic's good. Don't need no elaborate philosophical thing to motivate you. It could just be that I want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't. All right. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Let's go.
All right. I have some written now, but maybe some things will spark my mind.
All right.
Okay. Here we go. Favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh. Excellent. What is a hidden talent?
Man, I could play guitar and piano.
At the same time?
No, actually, I'll try. I'll give it a go.
Insert a video of Geoff playing guitar and piano at the same time. I'm joking. All right. What other businesses inspire you?
Transformative businesses, like where they're able to turn people's lives around, not just from a physical fitness standpoint, but also from a mental wellness standpoint. Sorry, I'm dragging this answer for too long.
That's fine.
But it's brilliant when you can see people with lasting change for the better.
Favorite musical artist?
Disturbed.
No, I've never heard of them.
Really?
No, I've never heard of them.
Okay.
I guess I have to look them up.
Disturbed.
What type of genre is it?
Industrial metal.
Industrial metal.
Yes.
Okay. Probably not my cup of tea, but
they're coming to Australia for Knot Fest next month.
Top 3 tips in life or business?
Look after people first, because they'll look after you. Look after your health. Right. Prioritize that. Everyone puts their health last. They'll get to it later. You got to make sure that's a priority. And rest. I think that was like a resolution for a lot of us for coming into 2024. They worked way too hard last year. Prioritize rest.
What is something that you haven't done that you want to do in life?
I want to see the fjords of Scandinavia.
Interesting.
And explore where the Vikings had conquested.
I'm guessing you like the show Vikings.
Yeah, well, a wee bit.
And last question. If you could do anything else, what would it be?
Beer brewer. So Rusty Penny, I'm talking to you. When I retire, I want a job with you guys.
Well, man, I want to thank you for coming in. I know you weren't feeling the greatest today, and I really appreciate that you spent some time with me.
Oh, this was great.
I actually really enjoyed our chat, and I think I've learned a lot from you. I guess something that I've learned from you is that you just got to keep moving forward, and it will get easier, and that if you trust the people around you, and if you choose them correctly, or they choose you, then you're going to be all right.
Yeah. And my wife chose me.
That's a story for another podcast.
Yeah.
But Geoff, man, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming.
for having me.
And have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Adam.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Pixchats Podcast with our special guest, Geoff from Bella Dental. You know, one thing we really want to do is start building a community of business owners or potentially entrepreneurs that want to get down those business routes. And I hope these podcasts are going to give you some insights in current business owners and what motivates them, what drives them forward. So please, like always, like and subscribe our podcast on all the channels, watch on YouTube, follow us on socials, and also give some love to all of our guests on their social channels as well. Talk to you soon.